Oh, hello.
And welcome to the Comic Queens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie. And today we're super excited to celebrate the start of fall with you all.
So excited.
So excited. Fall is just a great time, honestly, to kind of embrace that cozy, like cool weather, bundle up and read like a good book or webcomic. And so today we just kind of want to talk through a lot of the stories that give off that fall feeling so that you can kind of get in the mood with all of the nice cold weather and coziness coming up.
Warm tones.
Yeah. Warm tones, some spooky little mysteries that we have going on right in time for Halloween. And honestly, just wanting to talk through some of the stories that have us gripped right now that match that vibe. So Alex, how about you start us off?
All right. So the first one I want to talk about today is The Blood Moon. The Blood Moon is a vampire story. It is a romance, it's suspense, there's mystery, and it's very fall, it's very Halloween. Mm-hmm. It's a good one for this time of year. So it is about Linnea, and she is, as a child, she becomes orphaned and has to go live with her uncle and her uncle's family, and she's not treated well. She's always treated as kind of a burden, that's something that just was thrown upon them and not a part of the family. So she's really ready to escape this life, and eventually she does get to escape that life, but what she's coming into may not be better. To be seen. So she is married off. Essentially, she is sold to this family in the north of House Matai. And she basically is being sold to this family to be the bride of the head of this house, the Count, Eddard. And he is older. There's an air of mystery about the whole family. There's she comes in, she's told she can't go to the third floor of the house. It's very as soon as she gets there, she can sense that something is off. But very quickly, once she gets there, she also meets her new stepson, his name is Alexis, and he is more appropriately aged for her. They are the same age. Mm-hmm. And she very quickly forms a connection to him and sees him as her only salvation in the house. And so, but really she's trying to figure out what's going on. She doesn't know, there's just something the family's keeping secret. There's a religion that they follow that she's unfamiliar with, and she has to become familiar with it. And so she has to do all of these readings and kind of familiarize herself with it. There's a lot of ceremonies that happen that she has to become a part of, and it's all for Alexis, but Alexis doesn't know about it, she doesn't know about it, but the elders of the house know about it. So it's very what's going on, who knows? And it's pretty short, so you could catch up on it pretty quick. 23 episodes out right now. Season 1 is complete, so it's not a story that you can keep up with week to week, but it's very interesting, and it's perfect for fall.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. Honestly, it starts getting you with those secret rituals, mm-hmm. and the suspense of not really knowing what's going on. We read a couple of stories like that, mm-hmm. where you're slowly piecing it together with the character.
Yeah.
The suspense is amazing, honestly. And I mean, I love a vampire romance.
Yeah.
Who didn't read Twilight?
We're all just reliving our middle school dreams of Twilight.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's great. Honestly, so on the other end of that Twilight spectrum, the story that I want to talk about today is called After Dark. This is one that is off of Webtoon, and it's listed as the horror category. I don't know so much that I get that, but it is definitely suspenseful, definitely kind of like a mystery. Again, it's one of those ones you're piecing together the story with the character. Mm-hmm. And they kind of know more than you do, but you're slowly catching on to what's actually happening. Again, 19 episodes, super easy to catch up on, but the art is incredible, very spooky. And so if you're wanting those Halloween vibes, this is a werewolf story.
Ooh.
So, yes. So on the other spectrum for Twilight, there you go. Basically, After Dark is a story about this guy, Andrew. It opens up and he's in therapy and he's talking to his therapist, alluding to the fact that there was some sort of an accident in which him and his girlfriend were both together and he survived and she didn't. Mm-hmm. And so you don't really know, but he's having these vivid nightmares. He's like, I'm having these nightmares that I'm becoming the monster that attacked my girlfriend. And I don't know what to do with that. Like, that's terrifying. And I don't know, like, I know I'm not the monster. I know I'm not responsible, but I can't help but feel it, you know? And she's like, I mean, it's only been a month. You know, it probably doesn't help. I know you said you had like a complicated relationship with your mom and she's like making you feel guilty for everything that happened. And so basically, haunted by grief, Andrew just goes to escape. He takes like a couple of days, goes to this motel in the middle of nowhere, and he's seeing the ghost of his girlfriend everywhere he goes. And you're slowly piecing together what the accident was and seeing him turn into this monster, and you don't really know if it is him being a monster or if it's all just in his head.
Or if it's just like grief that he's experiencing.
Yeah.
I love that, where it's kind of like it just adds to the mystery of like, is it supernatural or is it psychological? And I love that trope.
And honestly, I'm of the mind that it might be all of the above.
Yeah.
It is such a good story.
Could be both.
Andrew is such a good and relatable character to just like you're seeing him mourning and going through all of these troubles and hardships. And it really is like, it's a story about loss, but also werewolves.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really go wrong. It's kind of like the best story. But again, if you're wanting some of those, you know, spookier vibes for Halloween.
Is this the one that you had me look up last night?
Yes.
Okay. The art looks really good. I have not read this one, but I saw the art and was instantly like, okay, this is something I want to read.
The art is honestly very unique.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've read a story with this art style before.
Yeah.
It's very gripping and it's very suspenseful. It's great at kind of building that, I don't know.
Building the
mystique.
tension.
Yeah, mystique and tension. It's great. So yeah, I love it. Definitely recommend.
Well, that sounds good. So another one that we have both read and still sticking with kind of the supernatural theme is called Secret of Umbra. This one is a kind of cozy mystery. So the art style for this one is very warm and fuzzy and playful, I would say. It's a very playful art.
Yeah.
And just it's super cozy vibes, but it's got a mystery to it because it's about a town. It's about a boy called Gabriele, and he moves to a small town with his family. So this is a small town in Italy where his grandma lived, and when she passed away, she left her villa to his family, and so they moved to this small town. He's not happy about it. He's having a very teenage moment where he's like, I don't want to move here. My phone doesn't work. What am I going to do in this small town? And he goes to this town. He very quickly becomes friends with a girl named Beatrice and learns that the town kind of holds a grudge against her and thinks that she's a witch. And the whole town has a very complicated relationship with witches, and it's very Salem-esque. So it's super interesting. There's an air of mystery about it, about what happened in this town's past. And so Gabriele, along with Beatrice and their other friend Elia, they are trying to uncover the secrets of Umbra. Super, super interesting. Again, it's not completed. We actually, when we were reading it, there's 52 episodes out now. Season 1 is completed. It left on a very intense cliffhanger. And when season 1 was completed, they accidentally put that it was the series completed. And Annie and I almost had, I would say, a meltdown about it. Because it did not feel complete.
I may or may not have made a post about it in Reddit immediately upon seeing it.
You definitely did, and people responded. There was also other people who were just as confused as we were. Fortunately for us and the other people reading this story, it is not completed. It is just season 1 completed. So you can read this one. It is a little bit longer than the others we've talked about so far, so it'll take you a little bit longer, but it's so good it'll go really quickly.
Yeah, honestly, you'll get sucked in. It doesn't even feel like it. It is such a sweet story. I do love like the school life, slice of life ones. And it does have a little bit of that. That is the coziness that kind of comes in.
Yeah, definitely. And the color palette is just very pleasing. It's not like overly warm, but it's got a warmth to it that I just love that comes with the story. So yeah, highly recommend.
Yeah, I love it. It's so wonderful. Kind of sticking with that cozy mystery vibe, I kind of wanted to move on to my recommendation of Marionetta. Now, I know this isn't one you've read, Alex, but this is one that I read week over week. It has me completely gripped. The art is very adorable and soft, but like also has like these pastel bright colors. I don't even know how to explain it. But it is 37 episodes that continuously every episode I'm just left on a cliffhanger that just drives me insane. So the story starts out with 2 best friends, Julia and Camille, and they're on their way home from work. They're like young girls. They're like 18. Camille's birthday, like to turn 19, is coming up. And essentially, Camille just kind of looks like she's going through like a quarter life crisis and is just very kind of retracted. Like, oh my gosh, I'm getting old. Like, what do I do? And so, you know, they kind of talk about the fact that once she turns 19, it's like the government's initiative that girls have to start getting married. And so Camille just like feels all of this pressure on her. She's like, I just don't want to think about it. And essentially there's this circus or carnival that's going on in town, like just one that's traveling around, and it happens to be settled where they're at. And Camille essentially convinces Julia to go. Julia's kind of like the rule follower and Camille's the free spirit. And so they balance each other out. And so they end up going to this carnival together, and Camille is just like whisked away with all of the amazing things happening. She's like volunteering to go on stage for all of these different acts. And Julia is just kind of retracted in herself, like, this is too much social anxiety. I'm going to sit on this bench by myself, whatever. And so, you know, Julia, she's kind of, you know, enjoying it in her own way. She ends up like saving a clown who's getting bullied by little kids. And then she kind of realizes, she's like, I don't know where Camille went. And so Camille's just kind of disappeared. Essentially, she gets whisked away by this, she's just taken by this beautiful couple who did like, you know, a dual act together, like a fortunes teller act. And when she goes to follow after them in the tent, she ends up watching them murder somebody.
Oh my gosh.
And so they end up killing Camille, and Julia is looking for her friend
because she saw them
murder someone else
so
as a witness.
Kill her. Yeah. I mean, I guess if you've murdered one person, what's the second?
Yeah, what's the second? And so essentially, you know, Julia and her family are like, where the heck is Camille? What's going on? And, you know, there is that element of supernatural in there. There is like, you know, a different, I mean, quote unquote, different kind of human. They're called the Three Eyes. And they're people who basically have like one foot in, you know, our mortal realm and then another in the spiritual realm. And they're essentially just like looked at as a plague to society. And so everybody assumes like wrongdoing on these Akan, like it's the government versus the Akan. Like they're just very looked down upon. And so Marionetta is basically the story of a best friend who is following after her best friend and trying to get to the bottom of this entire mystery of why is my friend still alive but tied to this circus, and Julia herself dies and now is tied to the circus. And this is like 3 episodes in. Like the amount of absolute insanity that ensues is just amazing. There are so many little moments of like, it's not just about them having to like solve all of these different crimes or figure out like where all these monsters are. Who is the real monster? Is it these three-eyed people, or is it really the government? I mean, like, there are so many different angles to take in the story. And at the end of the day, too, it's just kind of like a story about friendship and how your friendships evolve and how you look at people differently when you get to know their life story. It's so good.
I love that. I'm definitely going to have to read that one. It sounds super interesting. I've seen the art. I've not read it, but the art it's another one that's really unique. It's not like anything I've seen before.
Yeah, it's so pretty. It's such a good story. And like Julia and Camille are such good friends. They're both so different and yet the same. Sounds very similar.
Never heard that storyline before.
Never, definitely not. But yeah, ultimately, like, I guess a huge part that I didn't tell you within the first few episodes. And so Julia essentially tries to find Camille, knows that she's traveling with the circus, thinks it's Camille trying to run away. And after trying to go after the traveling circus, Julia dies. And then is also joining the circus. And
so they're both dead as a part of the circus. Is everyone in the circus dead? Is that part of the mystery?
Yeah. It's not part of the mystery.
Okay.
Everybody in the circus is dead. And so they all travel together. They can't like leave the tent. But part of the mystery for Julia is that when she goes to sign her contract saying, I want this second chance at life, her specific contract says you have a year to find this guy, Anthony, and kill him. And if you don't, then you die.
Ooh.
Like,
don't
for
love
good.
A time crunch.
And she goes, like, she's trying to figure out because the person who usually signs everybody's contracts is Anthony.
Oh.
And Anthony goes, I never signed your contract. Like, I didn't approve you joining the circus.
Well, of course, because he wouldn't send out a contract that's like, hey, you have to kill me.
And so now, I mean, like, there are so many different angles, but Julia now has this mystery that she's keeping to herself of, I have to kill this person. I don't want to kill this person. Why? And who wants me to? And yeah, it's just the twists and turns, my friends. Like, we're only a couple episodes in, so I highly recommend get yourself caught up, get involved in just the great stories. There are so many characters and they give them all such great personalities and backgrounds, and it's hard not to get invested.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I'll definitely have to read that soon during fall to keep with the cozy vibes.
Exactly. So keeping.
The last one that I want to talk about today is Countdown to Love. This is a newer one. There's only 17 episodes. It is still ongoing. So it's a Friday release, so you can catch up quickly, read it weekly. It is very cozy and cute. This is, I think, the only one we're talking about that doesn't have any suspense. Well, I guess it does have a mystery to it. It's not suspense, but there is a mystery because it is about Hoon and Hayden. And so Hoon, you start off the story with Hoon. He all of a sudden can see a countdown clock in the sky. And he's very concerned about this at first. He thinks it is a countdown to his death. A little morbid, but that's what he thinks is going on. Until one day he sees someone looking up in the sky and it's Hayden. And he realizes that Hayden can also see the countdown clock. So they kind of connect over this and realize, okay, Hoon realizes it's probably not a countdown to my death, because if it were, why would someone else be able to see it? We don't know what the countdown clock is going to reveal. It's not to 0 yet, so who knows what's going to happen once the countdown clock finally ends. But basically, Hoon and Hayden just connect over this. The story so far is really about them forming this friendship. Hoon was a basketball player and he gets an injury and he's not able to play basketball anymore after this ankle injury. And so he's really upset about this. And that's part of, the thing that he connects with Hayden over is Hayden is like, can you teach me how to shoot free throws for our gym class? And so they connect over that. And then Hoon kind of realizes that he's got some other feelings for Hayden and he's like unsure about it. It's like very first love vibes. And then enters Namu, which is one of Haydam's friends from middle school who just transferred schools to be with Haydam. And so this kind of enters in the third person. Namu is very upfront that he likes Haydam. He says that he likes Haydam, and Hoon is kind of unsure about his feelings, just very confused. And so it's really just about, like, it's very slice of life, very cute and cozy, and also has the little bit of mystery with what's going to happen with the countdown clock.
Yeah. Honestly, this one is so cute. And I do love the unlikely friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't have super much in common, but because of this countdown clock, like, they pay attention to one another.
Yeah.
And realize they have more in common than they thought.
Mm-hmm.
It is so sweet. Again, I love the slice of life ones. It's adorable, and the characters are so well written. I do love Namu as, like, he's sweet, but you can tell he's, like, ribbing Hoon the entire time.
Yeah, he definitely is. He calls him Hoony.
Hoony, which he hates. But I love it. It's a story of, like, self-discovery, and it does have that element of mystery to it.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Honestly, I love it. So the one that I wanted to talk about last is actually going to be one of the newer ones that came out on Manta. It's called When Fate Finds Us. It is 13 episodes. And this for me is an absolute comfort read. Like, this is one that I'll curl up with a blanket, and already I'm just like, oh, give me my warm tea. I'm ready to read it. So this is a story about Noemi. She is known as basically God's wife. Mm-hmm. She has this supernatural power of anybody that she touches, she can see their future. And so she basically gives people prophecies for the church of, like, here's what's going to happen to you. And again, like, there's this sense of, like, she's basically trapped. Like, the church deems what's appropriate for you to tell people. So, like, she congratulates a couple because they're going to get pregnant, but she doesn't tell them that they're going to have a stillborn child.
Oh, so sad.
But they don't tell all of the details because they want people to continue coming back and making donations to the church.
Yeah.
And so essentially she's like a used vessel for the church to, like, make money, and they lock her away.
So she can't leave. Like,
so she can't leave.
Wow.
Yeah. And so Noemi is just kind of riddled with this sense of, like, feeling entrapped. She also kind of feels like her power is a curse because whenever she sees her own future in dreams, it's always just her death. Like, it's the only thing she sees. She's like, the only thing that's left for me is dying,
terrifying.
Essentially. And so she just is looking for an escape. Like, she doesn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And then there is Theo, who is a merchant in the town. He is not really a believer in, like, their god Olak, or, you know, just in the fact that there's a person who can read people's futures. Mm-hmm. And he kind of goes and he's making a donation for his aunt who passed away to the church. And he essentially tells Noemi he doesn't believe in what she does and she doesn't have to make something up for him. And when they get super pissed, they share a very quick kiss.
That seems out of nowhere.
It was like a stumble kiss. Like,
okay.
It was kind of out of nowhere.
Tripped and fell.
During their argument, like a tripped and fell. Oh, no. But when they briefly connect, she is able to see her own future, and it's not death. And she's able to see herself happy and, like, with kids and, like, living this entirely new future that she's never seen for herself. And so she kind of gets this, like, spark of hope where she's like, I need to see this person again because, like, I want to know more about my own future, and I can only see it with this person.
Yeah.
And she prophesized that something was going to happen to his ship and he was going to lose basically everything. And it came true. Mm-hmm. And so he comes back to her after everything happens and he's like, what have you done? Did you curse me? Is it like everything that you say comes true? And she's like, no, I just tell you what I see. Mm-hmm. And so they make a deal together and she goes, I'll help you, you know, continue to look at your future and figure out how to recover from it if you help me escape and, like, learn what freedom is, essentially. And so it's like a contract lovers. It's so good. The characters are so well written. And you do realize like how much Noemi loses out on and is lost out on. Like she's literally learning how to live for the first time because she kind of lived for everybody else. And so she's learning how to live for herself. It is such a sweet story. It is so cute and cozy. I love the characters. And honestly, I think it's just the best for the fall vibes.
I love it.
Yeah. So it has a little bit of that mystery in there.
Yeah. Pretty much everything we talked about has a little bit of mystery at least.
Yeah. Some more than others.
'Tis the season.
'Tis the season. 'Tis the season to be scary. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining us. We do obviously have other honorable mentions. We can't talk about everything we read. Otherwise, we would never stop talking with you all. So we'll leave some honorable mentions in the description if you would like to take a look at some other cozy fall stories and some spooky ones as well. But anyways, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to talk to you on the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.